Hey there, I'm out in the potting shed. It's been raining for a couple days and it's now a little bit warmer and sunny, so I'm coming out to get these seeds planted. I've had some seeds sitting around for a while and I'm ready to get them in the ground in the little containers, and I'm in my potting shed. So I'm going to kind of walk you through what I'm going to do. There are so many different ways to sow seeds and grow plants from seeds. So there's not one way, and I'm probably going to do it several different ways, but I'm going to show you as I go so you can see, and we'll pick the way that seems good for you depending on your space or what you have available, or sometimes the type of seeds and the time of year. So I'm going to switch over now and just show you me mixing up some dirt and getting ready to plant some seeds. I'm going to put them, some of them I'm sowing them in like little flats, and then some I'm going to direct sow in the ground. But because we live in a warm climate and they need to be sown like now in this sort of fall time, and then they will germinate in early spring, so, or probably late winter, some of the things I'm going to throw down. But let me show you what I'm about to do. Okay, so I have my big handy dandy bins, which have never been used. These came from IKEA and I'm super excited about them. I bought some sphagnum peat moss because if you notice, a lot of the pre-made like seed starter mix is pretty, I don't know, it's pretty crappy if you want my honest opinion. It's very dry. In fact, I have some here that I got in a bag, I don't know, probably last year, and look at the difference. I mean, obviously it has also been sitting in a bag, but it is not the same quality as what I'm looking at right here. And all this is sphagnum moss. And what you need to do, and there are many ways to do it. Again, there's not one way, but I like to mix with the perlite. So I've seen people do vermiculite. I like the perlite because it holds water. And this says to mix 50-50 with vermiculite. Depending on what you're going to do, I like to put a little bit. You've probably seen this in your soil. When you get some soil of a plant you've bought, there's like the little white things. Those are the little white things. So let me, sorry, you're going to get me, you're down on the ground at the moment, but I'm going to open this bag, and I don't need to put it all in there. You can see it's just like a white little powdery stuff, and I'm gonna see if I can pour this in. I'm gonna pour a little bit in here. It doesn't need a lot. So, I mean, I don't think I even did a quarter of the bag. That's the good news. And I've got my little tin garbage can. Again, I'm just sort of half in and half out of the shed. I'm not totally moved in, but I'm going to start doing things in here. And then I'm just going to start mixing the soil and to see if I need to open the windows. We actually put the excuse me, the latches on the windows yesterday, and I've never there's like a dust that is kind of blowing up from the perlite, so be careful of that. Let me go ahead and put my, finally got the windows working here. Look at that. We've got latches on the windows. Here's one latched. So now I can close them tight. And when I need to, I have my little paint sticks to put in to hold the windows open. Okay, so I'm gonna mix this up. I'll probably put just a little bit more in just to kind of keep it so that it will hold that moisture. And then I'm going to wet, I'm gonna put it into the containers and then wet it really good before I put the seeds in. Okay, so here I am. I just kind of, here's my shed right here. I just kind of set up a little area right here with the hose, and I'm going to fill these. I had already filled these like a week ago, but they've dried out, and then I never put the seeds in. So this is some older potting mix that I had in another bag. It's not as great, but I'm gonna go for it. And then I also have just some regular potting soil here. I don't know that I'm going to use that, but I have it out here. And then here's my bin, the ones I just mixed up. See this cool thing? I just love the fact that it has like a little flip top lid. I got these at IKEA. And there was another video that I saw that I really loved it, but I thought, what a neat thing I can stack up and keep my dirt when I need it right inside of that. So I'm just going to fill these right to the top. No need to do anything else. It's pretty simple. You just fill up all the little holes. You don't have to grow in these holes either. If you just have an empty pot and you want to grow some seeds, that will work. I just happen to save these from, I don't even know, just buying plants evidently. I don't know where I got these little holed ones from. I think I bought these actually. But then I do have some over here that I saved from last year, you know, buying some plants in the spring. I try to keep some of that stuff because, you know, it's a waste to throw all that plastic away. And I know a lot of them will actually recycle, which makes sense. You know, they don't have to keep buying pots over and over again, and then you don't have to keep throwing the pots away. Oh, there's a stick in my potting soil here. So get these filled and then water them well. If you try to plant the seeds first and then water, your seeds will, it doesn't get really wet in here. It takes a little while to get these wet. This is like weird soil as far as the water. It's not like regular potting soil, the sphagnum moss. It takes a while to get it like really wet throughout. Like you might water this and it seems like it's wet, but it's only wet on the top. And if that's the case, your little sprouts, when it starts to have roots growing, they're gonna need it to be all the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill these other ones, and then I'm gonna just soak them through several minutes to make sure that it's really down in there, and then plant the seeds. You don't want to plant the seeds and then water, because then your seeds will float around. They might all, wash to the side, and then instead of being spread nice and even, they're going to be mangled up. Okay, I filled them up. Now these are all about the same size, but then I have some of these that are a little bit deeper. They took up a lot of the dirt that I just mixed up too, these bigger ones, but I'm gonna plant the snapdragons in here, which are a little bit taller and will have a little bit bigger root system. And the other ones I'm planting pansies, and they're tiny, so they have a shallow root. So you can start your seeds wherever, it doesn't really matter, but if they're gonna be taller and you wanna kind of keep them in a space, take a look at that too. These little tiny like plugs like these, they're not very tall, they're just narrow. And then these, we've got a lot more space, so they're a couple inches versus maybe an inch or whatever on these. So if you can see, I want you to see how this new soil that I just got and just mixed up is looking fantastic. I just watered it and you can tell that the water's going through it. This other stuff that I had from before, the water is pooling. I don't know if you can see that. See how it puddles on top? I know that if I stick my finger under there, in fact, let's see if I can get in there with my shovel, and it's probably not my shovel. If I dig down here, it's not that, it hasn't gone all the way. I've done this before, so it takes a little bit. I've already done it. I already watered these two, like I said, last week. So you want to really get the water down in there. I'm just sort of sticky. See, you can still see underneath that stuff here is just dry, so that the water is not permeating down. I probably should have mixed it and watered it first and then stuck it all in there, but I wasn't going to take it all out after I'd already put it in. And just knowing that this new stuff that I got is so much better than like the Dollar General dirt, which I guess makes sense. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully they'll germinate no matter what. I'm just going to have to do a little extra work, to make sure that and let those sit a little bit longer. But these other ones are ready to go, the ones I just filled. And then basically it's just like putting the seeds in. So let me bring you up. I'm going to bring these up on a table so I don't have to bend over here on the ground to go ahead and see these trays. Okay, I just brought these up on the table and I have them on these. I think I showed you guys this before. These are the IKEA boot trays. They're meant for boots or shoes, you know, by your back door, but I feel like they're gonna work great. I can water my seeds and then the water won't go everywhere. They'll keep them in these nice trays, and they were well worth it. In fact, the next time I go up there, I'll probably get a few more because they're pretty amazing. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to do these snapdragons, which I have here night and day. And it's really important to read on the back of your seed packet, or if you don't have the seed packet, make sure you look up online like how to germinate these, because they're different. Like these are way different than the pansies that I'm about to plant that don't need any sun and need darkness in order to germinate. So they have to be planted below the soil, versus these that says light aids germination. Press the seeds into the soil. So you have to know your seeds, and they're all different. So make sure you know that. And then usually the size of the seed determines how deep to plant. So the smaller the seed, the closer to the surface or on the surface they are planted. Bigger seeds, again, this is not for every, but that's the usual rule of thumb. The bigger the seed, the deeper it goes down. Like think about a bulb, right? Tulip bulbs or daffodils, they have to go, that's kind of like a seed. It goes deep down. And like the bigger bean seeds and things, peas and stuff, they go down deeper. Flowers don't have to go as deep unless they're like larger. So, I don't know why that is. I guess it just depends. So I also have some red snaps in this bag that I have saved. I have a whole bunch of these little bags in my garage. As my last year's seeds have gone to flower, I have saved the seeds. So I'm going to look to see. Now these may or may not be ready, and they're kind of a big mess. So I'm not going to spend the time right now with you guys watching, but there's like I just put the seed heads right in there. They're in there and they're really tiny. You just have to take them out. So you don't have to always buy seeds, right? I mean, I grew a lot of seeds this year, and I saved probably 90% of them. I have some seeds. Sometimes I forgot, like especially at the beginning of the season, some of the earlier flowering ones. And then I was like, man, I should grab some of the seed heads. Now, these might have already come out. They automatically, if I can show you, see the little holes? As they go along on their journey and they get like brown and like dried up, most of the time they will crack open or a hole will form, because that's the natural way that the plants will sow themselves, right in the ground. So you'll see the holes. So there are probably a whole bunch of them in the bottom of this bag, or if I shake, sometimes if they're big enough, you can hear them rattling around. But you want to think, you can cut your seed heads, but they need to be pretty dry. Like don't cut them when they're still fresh. Like they have to actually form a nice hard seed before you pull them off. So wait till they're brown, and even if you can hear them rattling or you see some of them with already holes, then you know it's time and you want to grab some before they all go to seed. Maybe I'll have a whole bunch out there already from the ones I didn't pick up. I'm hoping that some of them will definitely do that. My Queen Anne's lace, I got some tons. I've heard they're sort of prolific, so we'll find out. Maybe I'm going to go from having none to having like tons. So let's open up our little ones. I'm just going to use this because it'll be easier to open these up. And let's see what's inside. They're probably very small seeds. Sorry for you get the table again here as I'm opening. Let's see what the snapdragons are. Oh, if they come inside, if you open the pack and you get these, a little pack inside the pack, they're small. Because usually they're just inside. Like here are some Shasta daisies I'm going to throw down. These are, I've never done these before, but there's something on them that's a seed coating to help them with the germination, I guess. So you can just see the actual seeds. All of those are seeds. They're big enough. You can hear them, right? And the foxgloves. They're smaller. I can hear a little rattle. You might not be able to hear them. I'm going to put those directly in the soil. So let's open up these snaps in this little tiny pack. Now, there's no right or wrong way to do this. Sometimes people say they're going to use like a shaker bottle or something. You know what? Some of these are just too small. You just have to do your best. There may be some more advanced way to do it, but They are very tiny. In fact, I'm going to show you in here. That's what's probably in the bottom of my bag. Let's see if you can see down there. Yep. Let me see. Let me get out of the sun. The sun has now just moved to where it's shining right on top of me here. Those are really tiny seeds. See a few of them like stuck on the side. They're about the size of like one of those little, you know, the seeded buns that you get. The little caraway, not the caraway seeds, the other ones, I can't think of the name. They're very small. So I am just going to, I'm going to put this down because there's just no way I'm going to be able to do this with one hand. But I'm just going to take a few in my hand. I'm not going to sprinkle them out of here because I'm afraid if I tip, they'll all come out into one. So I'm going to put them in the palm of my hand and then just take a few with the other fingers and lightly sprinkle, you know, as evenly as I can. I'd like to say 4 to 5 in one of these places, but I'm sure that I'm going to get more and some and less in others, but I'll do my best. You don't want to put one seed in each pack. You need at least 3 seeds depending on the size. The smaller the seeds, the more you can put in, because not every seed will germinate. So if you want to guarantee, now sometimes you'll get several in one thing, and I will spread them kind of from the top to the bottom here because these are bigger than these little tiny plug ones that we have here. So here I can probably put some at the top and at the bottom and maybe get several in growing in one long thing. So you won't be able to see these when I'm done, but I'll come back and let you know that I finished. Okay, I filled all of these little pieces or whatever. And because it says light aids germination, press the seeds into the soil, I'm going to just gently, I literally just took my hand and went, you know, just a little very, very, very lightly sprinkled them. Like if you had pepper on your hand, that's kind of what it looked like. And now I'm just going to basically tamp the soil down just gently, not much, but I just don't want them to like blow away. So it says light, so they need to get light so they don't have to be covered. They're just lightly going to be tamped down, and that's about all it takes. Now they're already watered for now, but all I have to do is to keep them misted very gently. You don't want to come back with your hose and like squirt these full blast because all the seeds will go to the bottom. They won't germinate. So you want to just a very mister. If you have a little mister, I bought a little mister at IKEA. Or if you just have a little mister bottle from the dollar store or something, or even on your hose, you want mist at the most. And you just want to keep the soil damp while they're germinating. Now they have different times of germination. I think this says, let's see, when does it say how much they will grow? They usually will be like a week or so. Let's see. It doesn't say on here. Days to emerge. There it is. 10 to 15 days. A group of 3 seeds every 12 inches. So you can see there, it tells you exactly what to do on the pack. So I'm going to go over here now and work on my pansies, which are a little bit different. You can probably hear my seeds inside. And they like it to be dark. In fact, I did read online that you can put plastic bags over them and keep like a black plastic over them. I've never really grown them consciously. They have resown in my window boxes and in my garden here and there. So I don't know that I'm going to use the black plastic, but I think I will make sure that they are covered. Oh, this doesn't say, it just says here, let's see, light required, no. Seed lightly with peat moss over. 3 to 4 seeds per plant. There you go. Keep seeds moist until germination, 7 to 21 days. So again, you always have to keep all of your seeds moist if you're doing it like this. If you're throwing them in the ground, it's a little bit different, and you don't have to be as conscientious of keeping it. That's why I actually prefer doing them in the ground. And here you'll see me, I did a lot last early winter and midwinter, and I will be doing the same this year. You'll get to see me throw some seeds down. In fact, these foxgloves and these Shasta daisies I am going to put down now, especially some of these are like biennials. Even this pansy says a biennial, so meaning it like doesn't seed the first year usually, well, or it'll grow for 2 years. Like some of them, they won't flower until the following spring. It depends. That's why planting it now, those pansies should, I'm hoping, will start to flower. Some just need the winter, you know, time, because if you plant the daisy seeds in the summer, they won't bloom till the following summer. If you plant them now in the fall, then they will bloom. So it's kind of getting to know your plants. Most perennials will need to be started ahead of time. And of course, annuals, you don't have to worry about that. You just throw the seeds down, they come up, they bloom, and they die. They're one season. But it's interesting, I didn't realize pansies were a biennial. I know they will last a while, so you've got to get them started a little bit ahead of time. But I know they said you could sow in the summer for like a winter bloom, so I'm sure they're gonna grow and blossom. So let me go to my pansies, and then the next time you'll see me, I'll be out in the front putting down some seeds in the ground. Okay, I wanted to show you, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but these are about the size of like a flax, a little bit smaller than a flax seed. And what I decided to do here, which is super simple, is that I just took my finger, you can do a pencil or you can do anything, and I just made a little tiny hole, not real deep because again, these don't have to go deep, but if you make a hole in each one of these and then you just like sprinkle a few seeds, like 3 or 4 or 5 seeds in each hole. Oops, I don't want to go over. I'm doing the wrong sides here. I'm trying to keep my white and my red, and I just put a few on the wrong side. Then you just drop them in the hole. It goes really fast, and then you just cover them up when you're done. And you don't have to like get any more soil or anything. You just make a little depression, you know what I mean? Like a little indentation. And then it's really easy. Sometimes if I have a few extras on my hand, and I just sort of brush them off. There's so many here. And then when you're done, same thing. See, now I'm done. I have a few extras. I'll just sort of shake them over here. And now I'll show you my little holes. You can see the little holes that I made. And then basically you just kind of tamp them down. Again, you don't want to make it, you're not trying to cover them like tremendously because they are small seeds, but obviously they need some darkness.